Name's Adam. I'll be your host. So for this first episode, I'm gonna avoid getting into a deep dive on beat making on the MPC 1000 itself. We're gonna be getting into that in all the future episodes, but for right now, I just want to give you an introduction on where I want to take this channel. I guess what I think is gonna set it apart from other resources, and then also walk you through setting your MPC up so that you can follow along with those lessons. So this one's going to be a bit of an introductory and just kind of give you the format and the background, and then walk you through getting set up so that you can follow along as we move forward with these videos. So just to give you a little background on myself and why I wanted to start this channel, I've been using my MPC for about a year, and there's a number of resources available. There's books, there's a few videos, there's forums, of course, and I've been going through all of those over the last year, and they've been very helpful. So I would encourage you to do that as well. But I found a lot of gaps, and there's just a lot of things that I'm surprised didn't exist already. So I'm trying to make a channel that has the resources that I would have wanted when I got started with my MPC, so that hopefully I can help other people, but then also keep progressing my learning as well, because like I said, I've only been doing it for about a year, so I'm not the end all be all. I'm learning too, but I'm going to share what I've learned and kind of walk you through the processes that I've developed over this time. Speaking of the processes, I guess I'll go over the process or the format I expect these videos to take. So what I'm going to do for these videos is I'm going to take performances from the game Melodics, which is sort of like a rock band type game, but it's actually for learning how to finger drum. Like, it teaches you the techniques, and it teaches you like timing, and it's really good. But with the feedback you get, I've improved tremendously compared to just practicing on my own or watching YouTube videos and stuff. So I honestly can't recommend it enough. And that's why we're going to be using it as kind of the backbone for the beats that we're building. But what we're not going to be doing is just recording those performances sounds. Like that wouldn't really be very fun, just taking the game and kind of resampling it or whatever. But with the MPC 1000, we can record the MIDI notes and record those into the MPC 1000. So we're going to take the performances from the game and play through the performances on the pads, record the MIDI notes into the MPC 1000, and then from there we're going to unlock all the different features of the MPC 1000, which is really going to be the meat of what this channel is about. The Melodics is going to be sort of the the backbone that we're going to use to springboard the beat, basically. So we're going to completely divorce from Melodics by the time we're building the beat, though. It's literally we're going to be taking our finger performance, recording that, and then going through all the different features of the MPC. And the MPCs, it's got a ton of stuff it can do, especially with JJOS. JJOS is a aftermarket operating system. There's a free version, which you can use all the features of it. The only problem is you can't save what you've worked on unless you get the paid version. Honestly, I used the free version for months and months before I decided I was ready to upgrade, though, and had a blast doing it. So I would encourage you to install the free version and just use it until you're like, that's worth it. At least that's what I did anyway. So, but what we're going to do is just go through all the different features of JJOS, and probably we'll start with just the basic beat making features, and kind of really dive into the more advanced stuff as well. But the MPC itself, it's a sampler, it's a sequencer. It can be a MIDI master slave device. Like, it can do a ton of stuff, and I've probably only unlocked like half of its potential so far. But that's what we're going to be doing with this channel, is continuing to unlock that potential. So we'll take those performances, record the MIDI into the MPC, and then completely divorce from the Melodics, and then we'll really just dive into specific features and just work on building beats based on those beats I'm having a hard time saying it, but I think you guys know what I'm getting at. We're just going to take those performances and then use those to highlight features of JJOS, and then use that to just work on our beat making skills, basically. So that's going to be the gist of the channel. I hope it's something you guys are interested in. If you are, go ahead and hopefully hit the subscribe button, and we'll keep moving. I think I'll probably put out at least a video a week, maybe more, but I'll at least do one deep dive a week. I'll probably end up doing a few little short ones throughout the week during the work week and stuff, but at least one deep dive every weekend. And that's about it as far as what I expect to want to take the channel. So I guess I'll move on to how you guys need to hook up the MPC to your computer and Melodics as well. And then I'll go through and do a quick walkthrough on recording. But let's dive into the actual physical connections. So to hook up the MPC to our computer, we need a MIDI to USB cable. I've got this one I got off of Amazon. It was like 15 or 20 bucks. Looks like 4 or 4A, I think is the brand. I'm happy with it. It does what I need it to. So you'll notice it's got 2 plugs, and we're only going to use one. So we're not using the MIDI out plug. We will be using the MIDI in plug. If you look at the back of your MPC, there's MIDI out, and I've got it plugged into A. So that MIDI out plug that I mentioned we aren't using, that can be confusing for some people, at least at first, until they really start to thinking about it, because they think, oh, MIDI out, MIDI out. That's not how you want to do it. You need to think about it like the MIDI is flowing out to the in plug for the computer. So out of the MPC itself into the computer. So it's labeled MIDI out, and then it's going into the computer from there. So just something to be aware of. If you plug that in, you're not going to get any sound, and you're going to be like, what's going on? So make sure you do that. And then what I like about this one is it has this light built into it. And it's got the always on red light, but also it'll light up when you press MIDI key. So I just turned on the MPC. I'm going to hit the button. You see no other lights are turning on. That's because the MIDI is set to off right now. So I need to set that to the A channel, which is where we have it on the back. It's MIDI A. And now you'll see it lights up every time I hit a button. It's an unfortunate choice of colors on the LEDs. They chose cop light colors. Hopefully it doesn't give any of you guys flashbacks, but it is functional. If I could pick different colors, I would, but you gotta take what you can get sometimes. So when we've got it flashing like that, though, we know it's functioning from here and going over to the computer. As long as you got the USB plugged in over there, everything should be good on this end. So the next step is we're gonna hook up Melodics, which is that application I mentioned, which we're gonna be using for the performances. So I've already got mine set up, but I'll show you where to go to hook up the MIDI device, or to map the MIDI device, I should say. Go hit Account, Audio and Device, USB MIDI User, and then click Map Your Controller. Now you'll hit 4x4, and then it's going to come up, it's going to ask you to hit the buttons. I'm going to just hit cancel right here after I hit a button or two, because it seems like it screws up when you save it, but you just want to go through and hit each button until they've all lit up, basically. But if I go and save this again, when I actually go and try to do a practice run, it's not going to work, and I'm going to look foolish. So just go ahead and do that on your own. And now I'm going to go, the last thing for this video until we close up is I'm going to just go do a quick performance on one of these basic ones. I'm going to record that MIDI, and I'm going to show you it playing back with the drum kit on the MPC itself. Again, completely separated from the Melodics program. We're literally just recording that performance itself. So let's go do that here. That one's pretty boring, to be honest. Let me go do a different one. Okay, I'm probably gonna do bad. I don't remember what this one's like. Actually, you know what? Let's go do a hip hop one. I like the hip hop ones better. Alright, so it's showing you how we're gonna play it, which we've got the right finger, it's hitting on every beat, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The kick and the snare are hitting on some of them. So I haven't practiced this one. Let's just go do a recording of it and we'll see how it comes out. So there's a shortcut if you don't want to hit the play button to start it because you don't want to mess with the mouse while you're messing with the MPC. You can just hit the 4 corners of the pads and it'll start. So I'm going to hit first I'm going to hit play and record. Well, actually, I'm going to test to make sure, since I went to the map your MIDI, that it's actually registering. Okay, it is. So I'm going to hit restart. And now I'm going to hit play and record over here at the same time. You got to hit them at the same time like you would with like an old school tape deck. And it'll start recording the MIDI output here. So I'm going to hit play and record here. I'm going to hit the 4 corners, and then we're just going to start playing, and we'll get a recording of that performance. Not very good, to be honest, but that's okay. It's just for practice, so it's not like I'm really trying to dive in deep here. Hit stop. So at this point, we're done with the melodic side of things, and as far as we're concerned, it's no longer in the picture. Well, to be honest, I'd probably normally do some more practices because I didn't do a very good job. But as you can see, I'm going back bars here, and we've got those recorded. And I'm gonna just load some drum kits just so you can hear it play back with a few different drum kits. So it's not, like I said, it's not a great performance or anything, but I just want to kind of show you what we're doing here. And so what I'm doing is just loading a few different drum kits that I've got saved on my MPC already. I'm just gonna pick a few at random so that we can load them up and play them, and you'll hear that beat playback with these kits that I'm loading right now. And I'm just gonna load up 3 or 4 so I can cycle through them and show you what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to change to here. So now I'm going to hit play. Beats per minute's too high for sure. Switch the kits up. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. So far I like that kit the most. Now, I know I didn't really do that great of a job playing, so I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to go to the just kind of look through I'm gonna watch as I'm playing through them and just see how things look. Try to pick out maybe some bars that I think look the best. Actually, while I'm in here, just to show you a few things with the MPC, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on some effects here. This one's gonna be probably kind of extreme, so it's not gonna sound good. I'm just kind of showing you some of the stuff you can manipulate here, and then I'm gonna call it a day on this video. But so I'm turning on the effects for, okay, there we go, out effects. So I turned on the big grunger effect, and you can hear it's all sounding very distorted now. Maybe I'll turn on a little bit of chorus too. Anyway, that's the gist of what I'm talking about as far as taking the performance from Melodics and then taking it in here to build a beat. Obviously, we didn't build a good beat there or anything. I just kind of wanted to show you some of the functionality. So in later videos, we're going to actually work to make a beat that sounds good. But I think that's it for today. So if this is the kind of thing that you're interested in, go ahead and hit subscribe, and I'll be putting in these videos out probably at least once a week.